Armory Disc Golfers, welcome back to another video. Ganon and Alden Harris are trolls. MVP is about to announce something that isn't a Crush Boy reunion, and get your tinfoil hats out for Eagles Landing. We've got more off-season content to cover, so let's get into it. The offseason continues to heat up with big departures and impending signings. Last week we highlighted Eagles' supposed leaked announcement about him leaving Discmania, which turned out to be true. On Monday he re-uploaded that video and Discmania bid him farewell. But that's old news at this point. The hot new debate is where all these big free agents will land. Two of those free agents, Ganon and Alden, are doing their best to stir the pot every time things simmer down a bit, and they've both leaked their destination a few times. I read Alden like an absolute book in the comment section of our last YouTube video and got him to spill the beans about throwing for ThoughtSpace next year, and the mere appearance of a Nuke OS on Ben Calloway's Instagram compelled him to reveal Discraft as his next sponsorship home. This actually goes to prove what I mentioned in my last video, namely that Alden has added value to whatever brand he's signing with because of his social media activity. He's doing a great job of growing his personal exposure and branding with this free agency, which I applaud him for. There are plenty of other free agents that have been relatively quiet throughout this process, and I don't think it's bad to lay low and take care of business behind closed doors, but I do think Alden has done a good job of seeing an opportunity to get his name out there more, and he's capitalized well. Honestly, wherever he goes now, I'm even more inclined to snag a disc of his, so kudos. His partner in crime, Ganon has been a troll from minute one. From the moment he announced that he was officially leaving Prodigy, Ganon has been leaking his new home, with the outro of his departure video being chock full of references to every other major manufacturer. Most recently, he has incited the community to riot by conveniently forgetting to log into his burner account to ask for community suggestions on the most stable run of MV. What's particularly hilarious about this to me is that even though this is surely fake news, the owner of MVP played along in the comments section, which is a pretty cool flex. However, all this trolling actually might be giving us plenty of clues to both Alden and Ganon's actual destination, which for those keeping track at home, we all still think is Discmania. First off, there's no way this is Ganon's actual announcement to MVP. If it is, that's amazing, and hats off to both parties for breaking the mold on the same announcement post-video type thing that we're so used to seeing at this point. If Ganon actually was going to announce with MVP this offseason, I've got to think he wouldn't be joking around about it so publicly right before the official date or announcement. This is an obvious take, but I do think that this means that we can rule out MVP for the Ganon sweepstakes. Not that many of us had MVP as his landing spot anyway. I also don't think that he's going to have a Tour Series yeet anytime soon, though Ganon throwing for Team Hooligan seems fitting. If Ganon does announce with MVP, I'll look stupid for having this take because he literally just put it out there for the world to see, and I still came to the conclusion, oh, this must mean he's not going there. I'm willing to look dumb on that. He's not going to MVP. Speaking of announcement videos, Discmania set a premiere for a video on their YouTube channel today, and we're going to be seeing their future on Saturday at 10 a.m. Wonder who that could be. In other announcements, MVP uploaded 3 cryptic images to their Instagram, which clearly means something. I find it strange that they deleted or hid or whatever all their other old posts outside of these 3 and the recent team announcements, I think. I haven't been keeping super close tabs on MVP's Instagram history. There's probably some of you who know how to sleuth into that, but I'm pretty sure that's a new development. The initial speculation was that this pertained to Eagles' announcement, but I'm not buying that for a couple reasons. First off, Eagles still signed with Discmania through the end of the week. He's got a signing session at the Discmania warehouse on Friday, and based on his previous contract start date, I think it's safe to assume that he's with them through Saturday the 13th. Even if MVP were to announce Eagle, I don't think they would start that announcement while he's still under contract with another team. The other reason not to believe this being an Eagle thing is that there's clearly an Axiom logo floating on this bad boy, and I'm still holding out hope for the Eagle Tour Series being featured on Streamline Discs thing. If it had a Streamline S on it, I'd be much more suspicious. And based on what I just said about Ganon, I don't think this announcement is about him either. Given that it does have Axiom branding on it, I'm going to venture a guess that it's the announcement of the next disc in the Simon line, which we know is the Pixel. Simon has been using them for months, so it makes sense for MVP to bring them to production, and honestly, winter is probably the best time to release a putter, because a lot of you are in areas that are so cold you want to do most of your disc golfing indoors right now anyway. The winter is a great time to practice putting, and buying a stack of 10 putters is a great way to practice putting, so if this is the angle MVP is taking with this release, I can respect it. And if you are looking for that stack of 10 putters or other discs, I'd also respect it if you checked out ArmoryDiscGolf.com, because I love feeding my children even more than making these videos videos for you guys. Thanks as always for your continued support. Even if the MVP Instagram jigsaw isn't about Eagle, don't worry, because I've got another tinfoil hat theory that will scratch that itch you have to know about where he's going to end up. Shout out to Cody Rios on the MVP fan page for noticing this one. If you look at Streamline's bio on Instagram, you can see that they featured this hashtag fly solo. Again, I'm not sure when they put this there. Might have been last week, might have been 3 years ago, I don't know. What I do know is that you search that hashtag on Instagram, you get a picture of one particular bird over and over. I was already on board the Eagle to Streamline wave before this, so I'm going to ignore confirmation bias and use this to galvanize my current beliefs. I've seen a lot of people saying that one of the reasons Simon left Discmania was to go do his own thing, part of that being away from Eagle, and the Eagle doesn't want to be under Simon's shadow anymore. But have you heard anything from either of those guys that would insinuate any of that? Simon has been on record multiple times telling Eagle to join him on MVP, and Eagle was an oft-cited reason by Simon as why he wanted to stay with Discmania. I've also never heard Eagle have a negative thing to say about his fellow Crush Boy, and after seeing the wild success Simon has had moving to MVP, Eagle would be nuts to not at least strongly consider that option as well. The vernacular in Eagle's departure video about great opportunities and gut feelings, though granted are pretty generic, sound a lot like Simon's own departure video to MVP just a year ago. Eagle to Streamline is still my #1 option, but for those that still hold on hope for Eagle throwing an Eagle for Eagle, you do have this spicy bit of evidence on your side. Inova has recently had a new distance driver approved, and its specs look similar to a Destroyer, but it's got a little more height and a little more rim thickness. You know what else has specs that are awful similar to a Destroyer, just with a little more height and a little more rim thickness? That's right, the Discmania Cloudbreaker. Is this disc part of some big announcement package for Eagle signing with Inova? I don't know, but it would be cool to see. Inova is way overdue for a big offseason move. Their last big MPO move was signing Ricky Wysocki way back in 2019, and even that was a reactionary move because they let Paul frickin' Macbeth walk in that same offseason. Inova is still top dog in sales and overall points on tour when you consider all of their players, but as far as top end talent, they're really thin after Calvin Heimberg. Bradley Williams and Joel Freeman are great players, but they don't move plastic and they don't win Elite Series events like Eagle, who could go back to Inova and start throwing his old plastic again. Others have said it before, I'll echo it again here, there just seems to be something right about Eagle McMahon throwing Destroyers. And even though I'm still leaning towards Streamline, I would be the first in line for an Eagle McMahon Tour Series racer. As always, I'd love to hear what you guys think, who you think is going where, what theories you have, and why. So jump down into the comment section below and let's chat about it. If you're still with me at this point of the video, go ahead and hyzer flip that subscribe button. This offseason has been a ton of fun. I'm really enjoying it. I'm excited about what's to come. Thank y'all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.